lives are shrouded in mystery, and they want to hide their secret.
To address a theory that many people out there have been speculating on, that Meghan Markle has lied about her age. Is she actually older?
I'm not happy with what one of my daughters is doing. And I don't know what caused her to do this. We've had this conversation before. She's telling lies.
And not a surprise here because, yeah, she lies a lot about her stuff. We've caught her in so many lies. Her own sister has come forward. Her family, everybody is exposing her.
For years, the world thought it knew everything about Meghan Markle, the glowing Hollywood star turned royal game changer, the woman who walked into Buckingham Palace with a smile that could melt ice. But beneath the glitter, behind those perfect photos and polished interviews, something darker was hiding, a question that refused to die down. Who really is Meghan Markle? Because as her fame grew, whispers started to echo in corners of the internet. Was the story she told the world truly her own, or had it been rewritten along the way? At first, it seemed impossible. How could someone with her fame, her connections, her spotlight, hide something as simple as her age? But that's exactly what journalist Tom Bower, the man known for ripping away the royal mask, set out to uncover. And when he did, the truth hit harder than anyone imagined. Tom Bower isn't just any reporter. He's built a career fearlessly chasing powerful people who thought their secrets were untouchable. When he turned his lens toward Meghan Markle, what he discovered wasn't just gossip, it was evidence. Receipts, timelines that didn't match, school records that didn't fit. And all of them led to one shocking question. Had Meghan Markle's life story been edited? And not just edited, rewritten.
It's true. There is a rumor she's actually older, so let's examine what's out there. This is a copy of 17 magazine. It was published in March of 1997. In it, it mentions our Megzy is from Los Angeles and that she was 21 years old at the time of publication.
According to official records, Meghan Markle was born in August 1981. That's what every royal biography, every PR page, every media outlet repeats. But when Bower began cross-checking her background school graduations, jobs, early acting gigs, things stopped making sense. The turning point came from something so ordinary, it almost slipped through the cracks. A 1,997 issue of 17 magazine. It listed Meghan Markle as 21 years old. Wait, 21? That would mean she was born in 1976, not 1981. That's a 6-year gap, a missing chunk of her life that no one could explain. 6 years gone, vanished. Like someone had hit backspace on her history. When Bower brought this up publicly, critics called him crazy, until one heartbreaking voice quietly confirmed his suspicions. Thomas Markle, Meghan's father. He didn't shout, he didn't accuse, he ached. In a low, trembling voice, he admitted that for years, he'd noticed things that didn't line up. The birthdays, the timelines, the memories a father never forgets. Thomas Markle said softly, "I'm not happy with what one of my daughters is doing. Not out of rage, but sorrow. Because when he looked at Meghan's official story, the years were wrong. The little girl he'd raised had somehow turned into a woman on paper that didn't match the daughter he remembered. It broke him." He said his daughter had become someone who told lies about herself. He didn't understand why, but Tom Bower thought he did. Bower claimed the rewrite wasn't an accident. It was strategic, a deliberate rebranding. Maybe to look younger for Hollywood. Maybe to appear more fitting for the royal image. Maybe just to seem perfect. Whatever the reason, the truth stung. Because the Meghan Markle the world admired might not be the Meghan Markle that existed. And Thomas Markle, he just watched. His silence said more than words ever could. In interviews, his eyes looked tired, not angry, just deeply, deeply sad. "It's sad every day," he said quietly. "It's a huge disappointment." Those words hit harder than any tabloid headline, because behind all the glitz and gossip, this wasn't just about fame. It was about a father's heartbreak, a truth he never asked to face. But the more the public uncovered, the louder the questions grew. If one detail of her birth was changed, what else in her life story wasn't real? Tom Bower left that question hanging like thunder in the distance. Because once people start doubting your timeline, it's not just a rumor, it's a reckoning. And when his revelations hit the internet, it didn't just make waves, it caused a tsunami. Everywhere, people were talking. YouTube deep dives, TikTok theories, royal forums turned into courtroom debates. Meghan Markle, once the symbol of modern royalty, had suddenly become a case study in deception. And through all of it, Bower stood tall, repeating one line that became his mantra, "You can't beat the truth." That line sent chills across royal circles. Because if even a fraction of what he uncovered was real, it meant the palace had accepted a false story without ever verifying it. Even established royal correspondents began whispering, how could no one have noticed a 6-year gap? Why were her early documents inconsistent? And in California, Thomas Markle just sat there watching his daughter's empire tremble. "I only ever wanted honesty," he said. Those words weren't angry, they were pure heartbreak. To him, Meghan's silence, her refusal to address the rumors, was louder than any denial. And that silence changed everything. Meanwhile, Meghan Markle herself said nothing. No denial, no clarification, not even a simple video statement, just silence. And that silence, the kind that stretches longer than words, made the whispers grow even louder. Her fans rushed to defend her, claiming these rumors were cruel, invasive, and unfair. But her critics had just one comeback. If it's not true, why not prove it wrong? Then came the fallout. The Meghan Markle brand, once a symbol of modern empowerment, suddenly began to fade. Brands that once begged her for partnerships went quiet. Production companies backed away. Even her once flourishing public appearances began to shrink. Because in the modern world, authenticity isn't just a buzzword, it's currency. And nothing kills faster than the scent of a lie. The name Meghan Markle, once synonymous with elegance, was now a question mark. Who was she really? A misunderstood woman or a master of illusion? Tom Bower wasn't done. His investigation grew wider, deeper, and far more unsettling. He dug into old-school archives, scanned interview transcripts, even looked into early Hollywood casting sheets. And piece by piece, things didn't fit. Graduation years that didn't exist, photos stamped with the wrong dates, and interviews where she'd casually brushed off her age, changing the subject with a charming laugh. Back then, it seemed harmless, just another Hollywood woman protecting her image, but now it all looked suspiciously deliberate. Former colleagues began to whisper, saying she never liked talking about her real age. Some claimed she used to joke about being timeless. Others said she'd outright refused to fill out age sections in casting forms. And when Prince Harry came into her life, that's when her official timeline suddenly solidified. Her story was locked, perfected, presented too perfectly for Bower's liking. That was the smoking gun, he said. Someone built this version of her and the world bought it. And oh, how the world had bought it. But as the truth began to unravel, people wanted refunds. Because every time a missing year was found, another mystery appeared. And as for Prince Harry, silence. No statements, no corrections, nothing. The man who once vowed to protect his wife from lies now watched as her own truth crumbled around them. Readers revisited that emotional birth scene in Spare the Candles, The Calm, The 2 Epidurals, The Walkout in 2 Hours Miracle, and asked the same question. Was any of this real? Doctors said no. Reality said no. But Meghan's story said otherwise. By now, the internet had turned her life into what felt like a digital autopsy. Reddit threads titled The Lost 6 Years, TikTok sleuths posting side-by-side footage of her interviews, YouTube channels turning every piece of her history into a forensic breakdown. It wasn't gossip anymore, it was data. Archived, public, undeniable. And in the middle of it all was Thomas Markle, still heartbroken, still quiet. He said softly, "You can't edit who you are." It wasn't a jab, it was grief. A father watching his daughter turn herself into someone unrecognizable. Bower's final report called it the royal illusion. A fairy tale so beautifully written that the world forgot to question if it was true. He said, "This isn't about her age anymore, it's about credibility." And that line, that brutal, honest line, became the new headline across every platform. The irony? Meghan had once said she wanted to control her own narrative, and for years she did flawlessly. Until reality came knocking in the form of old records, forgotten photos, and one broken father who still remembered her birthdays. So where does it end? Maybe it never does. Because the internet never forgets, and neither do the people who once believed in her fairy tale. The story closes with one haunting image: Thomas Markle looking into the camera, voice trembling but firm. The truth doesn't need a PR team, it just needs time. That's the tragedy and the power of this story. You can edit a photo, an interview, even a birth date, but you can't edit time, because time remembers. Always. And no matter how flawless her brand might look, Meghan Markle's real past is still out there waiting to be seen.